Everybody, Dan with UltraDad here tonight to review a pair of shoes that have quickly become my favorite road shoes of 2020 and maybe even 2019. The Asics Novablast is really a work of art. I don't know how they put together such a good shoe. It seems to satisfy all my needs, from daily trainer to long run shoe. It really does the job, and it feels so good on my feet. So let's take a look at the Asics Novablast. Let's talk about a couple different major areas. We've got the outsole, we've got the midsole, and we've got the upper. And then we've also got your practical use type questions and opinions that I'd like to add towards the end. So let's talk about the outsole. The outsole rubber is their AHR Plus rubber that is 50% more durable than the Asics. Is 50% more durable than the Asics rubber on their typical shoes. You can see I put 230 miles in these shoes, and just look how well they've held up. I mean, they almost look as good as they did right out of the box. So looking at this outsole, you can see that the pattern is definitely worn down, but 230 miles, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this rubber. You don't see any chunks missing, you don't see any holes, you don't see anything. It's done a great job holding up. Don't really run in the rain too much with these, so I can't really tell you how the traction is. I've run after a rain, and it seems to not slip too much at all. Seems to do a good job at keeping traction and keeping me from slipping around too much. So the outsole is just fine. The midsole is the magic of these shoes. The midsole is their Flight Foam Blast, their FF Blast, that you can see right there. And the Flight Foam Blast, I think that this is the first model that they've used that foam in their midsole, but it is nothing short of amazing. I think the main takeaway from the midsole is how soft it is, and they even, in their advertising, they even say it's trampoline-like. Trampoline-like, I think, is a pretty good descriptor, but I wouldn't say it's... Trampoline makes me feel like it's out of control or something. I imagine my kids bouncing off and getting hurt. It's not that crazy, but it really does give you a nice bounce, a nice reaction off of the pavement. And at the same time, it's very protective of the bottom of your feet. You're not going to get a whole lot of ground feel in these shoes, but that's not what you're looking for in a road shoe. So I would say this midsole is the best midsole I've run in several years. I really enjoyed the Nike Pegasus 35 turbos. The turbo is just really nice with their Zoom air pockets that they have. But honestly, these feel better than that, I thought. 230 miles, it's still protecting my feet, feels great. So the midsole is really nice. And quite frankly, I'll probably buy another pair of these if they come up with a second model. So, or at least a model that has the Flight Foam Blast. There's something about this foam in this midsole that just really is, like I said, is magic. So. All right, so as far as that's the midsole. Now, the upper. The upper is really nice. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. It is very breathable. I'll give them that. It's an engineered mesh, and the design is supposed to make it more breathable. I will say that it does, when I sweat and when there is any rain or water on the ground, it definitely soaks in and makes it, will get your feet wet pretty quickly. So it's not going to shield you from water. But during the summer months, this summer, it really has kept my feet nice and airy and nice and dry during runs. So it's very breathable. The heel counter It's pretty stout, I guess you'd say. Pretty firm. It really doesn't bend much, and I know that some people have had issues with that. But really for me, I've never had an issue like that. I never had a problem with that. In the beginning, it was a little different having such a firm heel counter, but I really like it. I do think it really lends to a nice secure fit when it comes to the heel collar here and the heel counter. So the tongue is nice. It's not maybe not as nice as some other shoes. It's not as padded as I'd like, but it is nice. It is. I don't think it's gusseted at all. So it's not. The tongue is not connected to the body of the rest of the upper. It's loose, but it does a fine job. Really, no complaints with regards to the tongue. So we've done the outsole, the midsole, the upper. I guess another thing to talk about briefly is the look and the design. I really like it. There's a couple different models that I've seen. I think I like them. I like all of them quite a bit. I really enjoyed this gray with the green or yellow Asics logo there. It really just stands out, and I like it a lot. So the white rubber here on the side, on the midsole, and it stayed pretty white. I cleaned it up a little bit for this video, but it hasn't really stained too badly. It's really nice. I mean, 230 miles. It's well over halfway through its life probably, and it's looking really great. So I love the Asics, whatever you want to call this design here, this logo. This is their kind of their typical look. I really like that. It's kind of shiny and nice. So, you know, overall, this is definitely a long run shoe. It could definitely be for me. It's been a daily trainer as well. I'd say overall, it's going to get you through those long miles. So it's definitely going to get you from the 10 to the 20 mile mark. I think it could be easily a marathon shoe, unless you're trying to go super fast, which I'm not. So, I mean, I would wear this thing in many different scenarios. The only thing I wouldn't do, I probably wouldn't wear it for a 5K. I'd probably throw on my turbos, my Nike Pegasus 35 turbos that I have, or even something a little bit lighter than that. But anything above a 5K, really, I mean, I would say another thing to say about this is, although, you know, you talk long run or middle distance to long run, it encourages your pace to go faster. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know what the deal is, but it seems like every time I try to run slowly in these shoes, I end up going faster than I expected. I think it's because I think they feel pretty light. You know, as far as weight, I don't have a scale on me, but as far as it feels, that's really what it matters to me, is how it feels on your foot. Once you get used to it, it really feels light, and it makes you want to go faster. It encourages you to go faster. So, you know, in that sense, it's really nice, because there aren't too many long run shoes with this kind of midsole and this much cushion that don't weigh you down, because most of them are pretty heavy. So really nice for pretty much all uses, and highly recommend the Asics Novablast from 2020. I think maybe it was from 2019. You know, it's hard to even remember what year it is these days. So highly recommend these. Love it. I'll probably buy the second model, or at least something with this Flight Foam Blast. It's done a great job for me, and I'm going to keep putting miles in it. I could easily see 400 miles. I might even go higher. It just feels so good, and these have not broken down much. That's the nice thing. This foam has not broken down much, whereas a lot of midsoles these days, you know, they wear out after 300 miles. I can't imagine that another 70 miles this is not going to feel good. So overall, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's by far one of the best road shoes I've ever owned, and I highly recommend it to anyone who needs that extra cushion and who still wants to go fast. So, all right, so that's all I have tonight. The Asics Novablast. I'll let you know how it continues to do for me in the future. And hope you're doing well. Hope your training is going well. And we'll keep you updated. I am going to be doing the Mohican 100 miler, I think, in October, if it works out. That's my goal. So I'll be training pretty hard for that. A lot of trail miles coming up for me. So have a good night, and we'll catch up with you soon.